Hello and welcome to FIO-RI-VIEWS, the show where we take a look at movies, games, and shows. I'm your host, Fiori Sakai. Today, we're going to be looking at probably my favorite movie of all time, My Bloody Valentine from 1981. And no, it's not a movie about the Irish band of the same name, which actually formed in 1983, 2 years after the movie's release. But in a 1997 interview with AOL, founding member Kevin Shields claimed he was unaware of this movie when they were thinking of a name for their new band. Anyways, this isn't the show to discuss music history. We're here to talk movies, and today we're spotlighting one of the best. Well, at least to me. You see, on paper, My Bloody Valentine is a typical 80s slasher horror movie, complete with someone getting killed as they're about to have sex, and gratuitous gore that got cut out at the time and needed to be restored for a special DVD and Blu ray release 28 years later. But, like a Photoshop PSD file, this movie has a lot of layers, and there's a lot to unpack and talk about. Unfortunately, though, we don't have enough time to talk about everything, so I think every February I'll cover this movie, cause why not? Now for today, let's take a look at why I love this movie so much and why My Bloody Valentine is actually a really good coming of age drama. Well, as good as you can get in an 80s slasher movie. Now to recap, the movie is about a small mining town aptly named Valentine Bluffs, and it's in Canada. Anyways, on Valentine's Day, the town hosts a special Valentine's dance. However, a group of coal miners get trapped in the mines while the supervisors enjoy themselves at the dance. The sole survivor is a man named Harry Warden, and he gets a bit hungry waiting for rescue. He also gets kinda pissed off at the supervisors for letting the accident happen. So he does what anyone in his situation would do: dress up in full coal miner garb, hunts down each supervisor, and rips out their hearts like a Mortal Kombat fatality. In the end, Harry gets sent to the insane asylum and warns that he'll return should the town ever hold another Valentine's Day dance. Now you would think that's the entire movie, right? An innocent man who goes through a tragic accident only to go insane and exact vengeance on those who wronged him? But actually, that's just the backstory of the movie, because the actual plot takes place 20 years later, with Harry's story being forgotten and treated like an urban legend by the youth of the town, who are the true main characters. The main characters themselves are a group of friends who work in the mines, and you really do feel the connection and bond they have with each other. Also, none of them feel like cardboard cutouts like other main groups of main characters in future slasher movies. By that I mean they're not just walking tropes like how they are in the Friday the 13th movie series, where you have the obvious jock, the preppy kid, the punk rocker, the geek, the prankster, the virgin, and so on. Here, each character, as underdeveloped as they are, don't feel that way. They do feel like real ordinary people who just so happens to not have that many lines of dialogue or character development, if that makes any sense at all. The only character that does feel kinda tropey is Howard, the prankster of the group, but besides that, the main cast are very believable and likable. Now, the main group, the real focus is between TJ, Axel, and Sarah. TJ is the movie's main character. He left the town to try to make it on his own, but screwed up badly, so he comes back to Valentine Bluffs, and his return is what sets off the movie's plot. Because you see, Axel, the secondary main character, was TJ's best friend, and Sarah was TJ's girlfriend. And I say was in past tense because after TJ abruptly left and cut contact with everyone in town, Axel and Sarah hooked up. But now with TJ returning, you can see where problems may arise. And honestly, this dynamic is the best part of the entire movie to me. I mean, sure, Harry Warden does end up returning, and slasher stuff happens throughout the movie, but TJ's struggles with his mistakes and trying to fit back into his old life is what really humanizes this movie and makes it stand apart from other slashers, where a killer kills for the sake of it, and you're just watching a body count go up. In this movie, at least to me, the overarching theme is coming to terms with the past and trying to move forward. We see that mainly with TJ and his character arc, And I won't outright spoil it because this movie also has a great ending, but we do see this theme in The Minor as well, but in the opposite direction. TJ himself is a great character because he's not in denial over making a huge mistake to move out west without telling anyone, and he's also not clueless to the fact that things have changed since he's left and come back. He's fully self aware of what he's done, and throughout the movie, tries to settle back in. He does make a few mistakes here and there, but is also aware of them pretty fast. Like when he has a fight with Axel in the junkyard over what happened between them in the current situation with Sarah. After Axel leaves, Hollis, a mutual friend of theirs and another great character, shows up to comfort TJ, and TJ admits that the current situation isn't anyone's fault and that he just doesn't know what to do. And this is followed up with this great scene.
You know, I really do like that son of a bitch. Hey, remember? Remember how we used to tear this place apart? Hey, get drunk, race out to the bus? That was great. I guess things change, huh? Nothing stays the same.
That's probably one of my favorite scenes in this movie. I just love how TJ's actor, Paul Kelman, handled it with such nuance in the facial expressions and tone of his voice. And it's that type of self awareness that I love about TJ and what makes him so relatable. He's not a perfect person, and he's also not an unlikable asshole. He's just a person struggling to come to terms with how things are now. And in that context, I can really relate to TJ here. To be honest, I've been put through the ringer for the past 2 years, and I always think back to happier times like, damn, those are the days, huh? But like TJ says, nothing stays the same, and it's upsetting and frustrating because I just don't know what to do. And honestly, neither does this movie. Yeah, for as great as the character TJ is, and how great the movie handles it, this is where it kinda stops. Because the whole mass killer on the loose takes over, and we revert back to what you would normally expect from a slasher movie. But we do get one final dramatic scene before shit hits the fan, and that's when TJ takes Sarah out to their special spot, and he admits that what he did was wrong, and he fully apologizes to her. He asks for a second chance and tells Sarah that he'll go away if she wants him to. Call me crazy, but I feel like this movie was originally a drama and studios didn't think it would sell, so they added in a crazed killer and turned it into a horror movie. But with that said, the horror elements are actually really good. Once the drama stops and we get into the horror, we get a great third act, and it does feel more like a survival movie than a slasher one, where you just wait for the next gore-filled kill. Here, you are rooting for the main characters to make it out alive, and it's pretty tense. But I will say that despite shifting focuses, it does kinda work its way back to the central theme of the movie. But, spoilers, and that's what we'll cover next year. And on that note, that's my Bloody Valentine 1981, and why I love it so much. It's not your typical 80s slasher movie. Fittingly enough, for a movie themed around Valentine's Day, it actually does have a lot of heart, ranging from the likable cast of characters to presenting a more mature and serious topic that you just don't find in these types of movies. And even when it does shift focus back into a slasher movie, it's a really unique survival movie, and the ending is probably one of the best endings in a horror movie, on par with Sleepaway Camp 1983. Again, not spoiling anything, but I highly recommend watching both movies. You won't regret it. And with that said, let me know in the comments if you've ever seen this movie before and what you thought about it. I'm curious if I only like this movie so much because I can relate to certain aspects of it, or if this movie is just objectively good. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. I'm your host, Fiori Sakai, signing off. See you next time.